They're here.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 horror movie questions that are answered in the books.
Well, can't you answer me?
For this list, we'll be discussing unresolved or additional plot points that are addressed within a horror movie's source material or subsequent novelization. So we guess that merits a spoiler alert for both the movies and the books. Were you surprised by any of these? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Has humanity encountered alien life before Alien?
Wait a minute, this movement seems to have life. Organic life.
Alan Dean Foster is a prolific writer of horror and science fiction who may be known by movie fans for his many novelizations of big screen hits. Alien is one of Foster's most popular adaptations, and it explains a number of plot points that aren't as clearly addressed in Ridley Scott's horror sci-fi classic. Specifically, Foster's novel reveals that the crew of the Nostromo actually aren't shocked to encounter alien life, since it's detailed that Earth has done its fair share of spacefaring up until this point. The crew, when discovering the derelict ship on the Acheron, LV-426, make it known as such with their conversation, which heavily implies that this isn't the first time an Earth ship has encountered alien life.
What the hell is that? Jesus Christ.
Number 9. What's Freddy Krueger's backstory? A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
Uncle Bone Time. Look familiar.
Although later films in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise would expand Freddy Krueger's backstory, only the novelization of A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, utilizes plot points for that film written by series creator Wes Craven.
7, 8, better stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep again.
Jeffrey Cooper adapted Craven's original screenplay for the novelization, which contains a large number of differences from the final Dream Warriors product. For starters, the tone is much darker and more violent, and more is revealed about Freddy Krueger's human life, including a ranch house where he grew up. It's this ranch house that appears in the dream world for the novel's protagonists, as opposed to the iconic setting of 1428 Elm Street.
I used to live in this house. That's just a house I dream about.
Freddy's mother Amanda also isn't a nun in this novel and dies in childbirth.
If your only faith is science, Doctor, it may be you that's laid to rest.
Number 8. When did Carrie's powers first awaken? Carrie.
Creepy Carrie! Creepy Carrie!
Director Brian De Palma's adaptation of Stephen King's Carrie does a great job at showcasing a slow, deliberate awakening of Carrie White's telekinetic abilities. However, King's source novel specifies a much earlier time for this awakening, specifically during a pivotal scene where a young Carrie is caught spying on a sunbathing neighbor.
Eve was weak.
No!
Eve was weak.
No!
Eve was weak. Say it.
Her punishment is swift and brutal, and as a result of the trauma, a hailstorm begins pelting the White home. De Palma and crew shot this scene, but it's now considered lost. Additionally, the production's intended shooting of a finale where the White House is demolished by a fully powered Carrie summoning a shower of stones was also nixed, although this is still referenced in the film's ending, and by Carrie's rock-strewn grave. Number 7. What happens to Knowles, the Thing?
Where are we going?
Up to my shack.
What the hell for?
Because when I left yesterday, I turned the lights off.
Alan Dean Foster returns, this time with his novelization of John Carpenter's 1982 cult classic, The Thing. Carpenter's ambiguous ending remains intact, but the setting is much different in Foster's book. While Knowles' demise is described in no uncertain terms,
Where's McGreedy?
I cut him loose in the line up by the shack.
It's assumed that Knowles is assimilated by the Thing in Carpenter's film, but Foster's book switches the finale setting from the camp's generator area to the rec room, where the survivors fortify their final stand. Knowles is chased by the Thing, and when all seems lost, he makes a drastic decision. He chooses self-destruct over assimilation, and does so in shockingly violent fashion. Meanwhile, Charles and MacReady are still the last two left alive, and play chess while they await their frozen death.
Your move, king to rook 1. My move, rook to knight 6. Checkmate. Checkmate.
Chicken bitch.
Number 6. Who is the man in the bear suit? The Shining. Stephen King famously dislikes director Stanley Kubrick's adaptation of his novel, The Shining, so much so that King helmed his own miniseries in the 1990s.
And you thought nothing here could hurt you, sweetheart. Boink. Wrong!
Kubrick's vision is deliberately surreal, vague, and nightmarish. It's definitely its own thing, and doesn't really care if the audience has questions. Questions perhaps like, what's up with the guy in the bear suit? Well, King cared, and he explains it quite well in the novel, although it's a dog costume here, not a bear suit. The man's name is Roger, and he's a lover of Horace DeWent, who owns the Overlook Hotel. Roger is demeaned to wear said dog suit by DeWent, a sign of the owner's desire for domination and control.
But I corrected them, sir. And when my wife tried to prevent me from doing my duty, I corrected her.
Number 5. What's Tangina's backstory? Poltergeist.
Now clear your minds. It knows what scares you. It has from the very beginning. Don't give it any help. It knows too much already.
Although we're given a little bit of information regarding the parapsychological credentials of Tangina Barrons in Toby Hooper's Poltergeist, the novelization by James Caan answers a lot of questions about her backstory.
It lies to her. It says things only a child can understand.
It's established in Caan's novel that Tangina, though she is a medium, is also suffering from visions about her own childhood trauma. This expands upon the relationship between her and Dr. Lesh, who is attempting to assist Tangina through her issues. Their meeting, collaboration, and friendship is described in great detail, and it fleshes out both characters in a manner much different from Hooper's original film.
This house is clean.
Number 4. What is the origin of Michael's evil? Halloween.
Michael?
Fans are largely split as to how much backstory they want with The Shape, Michael Myers. Rob Zombie's 2007 remake went its own route with the incidents that influenced Michael's madness, but the John Carpenter original largely forgoes this, in favour of a less defined sense of evil.
I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
Curtis Richards' novelization of the film has no such qualms, however, and goes all in with a backstory about not only Michael, but his sister Judith, and even their grandmother. The book dates the curse of Sam Hain back to the dawn of the Celts, and how it could connect to the Myers family. There's even a moment where the grandmother worries about Michael's episodes of seeing things and hearing voices. It's all remarkably well written and compelling stuff.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Number 3. Why is Christine possessed? Christine. Is there any car in the horror world as iconic as the 1958 Plymouth Fury known as Christine?
Hey, you ain't mad, are you?
Both Stephen King's source novel and John Carpenter's film adaptation enjoy a symbiotic relationship of style and substance, but King's story does a better job at explaining exactly why Christine is so evil.
Your brother loves this car so much. Why is he selling it?
but he's stone cold dead, that's why.
Both versions explain the car's history of death and tragedy, linking it with the LeBay family, but the book more specifically outs the spirit of one Roland LeBay as the primary driving force of Christine's evil. Carpenter's film, in contrast, presents Christine as pretty much evil from the jump, taking victims right from the assembly line in a manner that points more towards a self-driving motive. No pun intended. Number 2, where do Mogwai come from? Gremlins.
What is that?
Mogwai.
What's he doing?
Singing. He does that sometimes.
So far, we've examined some book-to-movie differences that are interesting, but not beyond the realm of possibility. But what about novelizations that go all in with answers to questions you didn't even know you had? This is where George Guipay's novelization to Joe Dante's Gremlins comes in.
Where did you get this? Oh, some little junk store in Chinatown.
In the book, the Mogwai and Gremlins don't only get an origin story, they freaking talk. Yep, Guipay's novelization has Gizmo, Stripe, and the gang engaging in full-fledged conversations with each other, including discussions about their home beyond the stars.
Mom?
Didn't you know that Mogwai were actually aliens? Guipay certainly did, although it's since been revealed that the author hadn't actually seen gremlins before being tasked to write this book, so he had to improvise. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, where did Pennywise come from? It franchise.
I, Georgie, am Pennywise the Dancing Clown. You are Georgie. So now we know each other.
He goes by many names, but Pennywise the Dancing Clown and It to Bob Gray? Yep, Pennywise actually has a pretty nondescript name in Stephen King's original novel, although the story of his origins is anything but simple.
While I sat there looking out over the valley, I saw it arrive.
To paraphrase, there's a celestial turtle named Maturin, a macroverse, and the idea that Pennywise is definitely not from this solar system or even dimension.
You know what he did?
What did he do, Mrs. Kirsch?
My father joined the circus.
It Chapter 2 leans more into the idea of Pennywise being a clown possessed by it, as opposed to a clown simply being a favourite form of the entity. It's honestly confusing in both iterations, but Pennywise's history as a being hungry for fear gets a timeline that's more detailed and specific in King's original novel.
Tasty, tasty, beautiful fear.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.